I want to welcome you guys aboard here, by the way, too. It's 10:15 Eastern time right now. We're dealing with a Tuesday right now. Boy, it feels like a Sunday afternoon. No major news here. We know that without any major news this morning, we really were subjected to market personality. Market personality really is the most important thing. And so this morning, I want to remind you guys here, all of our contact information in the upper left-hand corner as we sit back and relax and manage these trades here. So what's happened today? Well, the first trade we took this morning was on the euro. The euro gave us a nice, easy heads up here. And we started with the heads up on the euro on the 30-minute chart. The 30-minute chart on the euro told us that we had a very bullish market sentiment. But then we saw on the 30-minute chart, we saw this big bearish failure pattern. The failure above the previous high of day is a really big clue. And we combined that clue with the dollar correlation. Now, the dollar correlation is a huge benefit for you euro traders out there. What did we see in the dollar? We saw that the dollar was testing the low of day. So the low of day on the dollar, what is that considered, folks? It's considered support. When the low of day on the dollar was there as support, and we were considering buying on the euro, we said, wait. Isn't the dollar support? Isn't there a negative correlation? So if the dollar is going to rise off support, what would the euro do in that case? It would fall, wouldn't it? Now, why is that so strong? Why is that correlation so strong? Because the dollar index is a basket of currencies. That basket is filled with euros. So here we are now on the dollar index. The dollar is at support. With the dollar at support, now I know that's synthetic resistance on the euro. So rather than buying above the previous high of day on the euro, we decide we're going to sell. We see some large speed, we see all the entry triggers, and we get short on the euro. We have now since taken profit targets on the euro. I've got 2 out of my 3 targets filled on this euro. My stop is sitting at my point of entry right now. And what we're hoping for right now is that this price action doesn't come all the way back up and bounce me out. We're hoping this is just a bounce and it will continue to go lower. We have a runner target at 30 and we got 2 ticks away from that final target. A little bit disappointing on that we haven't taken the final target yet, but you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. So there's my euro. I'm in the trade euro short, and we are going to make the most out of this position together. Gave everybody the exact entry time, and it sounds like everybody on this trade is right along with me. Then you've got crude oil. Crude oil was another one of those markets today that, again, being affected by this lack of major news today. And the first thing we did today on crude was we went to our 30-minute chart. All this information, by the way, was posted on my blog at 8:15 this morning. So this is not hindsight, guys. We talked about this together at 8:15 this morning. So now we didn't have this information this morning, though. Okay, all we had this morning was this. And when you look at your 30-minute chart, what do we see? The 30-minute chart told me that we had price come down and make the lows of the day. We then failed to break those lows again. We go up to the highs. We make a new high. We fail to break the highs. We call this a range-bound day. When we found that the crude oil price action had failed the highs and failed at the lows, we immediately diagnosed this market personality as being range-bound. Those big candlestick wicks. And sure enough, when price dropped, now here most recently here around 10 o'clock, price drops all the way down to the lows of that range. I went ahead and tried to buy the lows. I took my first trade for a loss. The first attempt that I made to buy the lows was a loss. And losses are going to happen. And you guys witnessed, although it be a rare event, I took a full stop loss today here on the crude. So the first trade I took was a full stop. Tried to buy at 92.30. Well, sure enough, price collapses, gives me a token print, and I get right back in. We saw this one coming a mile away. Got back in from 20, took some profit at 25, more profit off at 33, and we have our final target all the way up at the top of this price wedge. Now the price wedge we found shortly thereafter. Once we got done with our 30-minute chart and we realized we had a range-bound day, we then swooped into action and we found a price wedge. Do you see it? We found the lows to lows. That gave me the price wedge low. We found the highs to the highs. That gave me the price wedge high. Pretty easy when you look at it that way. Now a price wedge just confirms a range-bound market. A price wedge tells me buy the lows, sell the highs, avoid the middles. Then we went one step further. Look at these things called price alerts. See the price alerts? We went one step further and we said, you know what? It's going to be a sleepy day today. It will be really easy for us to have the temptation to start making up trades. You know who you are. You know who you are. I'm guilty as charged too. When the price action is not moving well, we get bored. There's nothing going on the television set because we have that turned off. The emails are turned off. The random Skype chats are turned off. And we're sitting here focused on our charts. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to try to create trades. So when I create my trades, I put myself in a horrible position. I go off the reservation, so to speak. I go off my trading plan. I go off the path of my trading operation. And I now fall victim to revenge trades, impulse trades, more risk per trade, less percentages per trade. Okay? So a price alert was a little trick that we used today. And remember, this morning when we first began our prep here, we were right in the middle of this range. We were not at the lows or the highs. So we were protecting against our own boredom. Price alert at the lows fires off when I test the lows. Price alert at the highs fires off when I test the highs. So we have had price alerts firing off here on crude oil telling us, hey, heads up, it's time for you to make some money. Let's look for a trade here. And boy, it looks like my trailing stop on the euro would have taken you out at 43. We talked about 43 being a trailing stop on the euro. I'm currently seeing the dollar right now starting to, as you can see here, the dollar is falling victim to that resistance. And sure enough, the euro is bouncing higher because of it. Now, what I'm hoping here is, and I know hope is one of those four-letter words that day traders shouldn't use, hope, pray, right? Those four-letter words, you know who they are. I'm hoping that this dollar index is just going to bounce off this. I'm hoping that this dollar index right now is going to bounce off this and then keep on going higher. If it can keep on going higher here, that's going to result in the euro now, instead of taking me out of this position, the euro will keep me in this position and allow me to get that final target filled down there at 30. Guys, don't forget, we've taken 2/3 of our position off on the euro and on crude. As of right now, protecting your capital is job number one. We've done a great job. We can't lose money on these trades. If anybody has any questions about trade management, you know I'm here every step of the way. I also want to remind you guys here, I welcome all the brand new faces here to come join me as a member. We offer a lifetime membership. There are no monthly payments involved, and what you see here today is what you get. We're less than 10 days away from releasing our brand new trade room structure, being open all day long, including the London session, and we're opening up with our new pattern scanner here for members only as well. A lot of really, really great stuff coming up here soon, and I'm excited to share all that stuff with you guys with our lifetime advanced members. Keep working hard out there. Another great day in this live trade room. Another day, another dollar here. Just another day at the office here at School of Trade.